Each Monday at 9 a.m., we get together for a conversation about faith in the fire service. It's called Faith in the Fire. We are using Zoom right now to make that happen. And this morning, the conversation centered around this phrase found in the scripture, blessed is the man who. We talked about this notion of what it means to live a blessed life, and understanding the word blessed kind of has a fuller meaning of being happy or fortunate, prosperous, and even enviable. And what does it look like for us to have that kind of a life? And it's not something we have to guess about or wonder about. Rather, the scripture kind of makes it pretty clear. We started in Psalm 1, verses 1 through 3, where we read this. Blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, or stand in the way of sinners, or sit in the seat of scoffers. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. He is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season, and whose leaf does not wither. Whatever he does prospers. That's pretty cool to realize that in our willingness to follow God, to follow his commands, to look through the scriptures, that we can be blessed or happy, prosperous, to be envied. What is it that you do to try to seek that kind of a life? What do you pursue to find contentment and joy and happiness? And in these days of the coronavirus, some of those activities have been limited. There's not an opportunity for us to try to find joy and happiness in some of those pleasurable activities. So instead, we get to look for what will be satisfying regardless of circumstances, regardless of what's going on around us. And that's what the scripture has for us today. Psalm 84 verse 12 says, O Lord Almighty, blessed is the man who trusts in you. That we really put our lives in our hands into his, that we trust what he's doing in our lives day to day. Proverbs 3:13 said, blessed is the man who finds wisdom and who gains understanding. That's toward the beginning of the book of Proverbs, the great book of wisdom. And we can find joy, peace, happiness, contentment. We can live a life that's enviable to others by finding that kind of wisdom. Proverbs 28:14 said, blessed is the man who always fears the Lord. That we would live our lives with this respect, the sense of awe and wonder around who God is. And finally, in Jeremiah 17:7-8, blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him. He will be like a tree planted by the water that sends out its roots by the stream. That's similar to what we read in Psalm 1, but listen to what it says as it goes on. It does not fear when the heat comes. Its leaves are always green. It has no worries in the year of drought and never fails to bear fruit. No matter what's happening, no matter the situation or circumstances, blessed is the one whose confidence is in the Lord. As we're going about day to day and we're wondering how in the middle of uncertainty do I find a sense of joy and happiness and contentment and peace, it's found in the scriptures, as would always be the case. There's an old hymn that says, trust and obey, for there's no other way to be happy in Jesus than to trust and obey. And when we come back to the scriptures, when we come back to finding God's way of living life, that's where we will find what it truly means to live a blessed life.